Hello and welcome back to another episode of Injustice For All MMA. My name is David. And this episode is for UFC Fight Night, Kattar V Chikadze. First things first, Happy New Year to anyone and everyone. But this is the first fight, this is the first card of the year, which means it's important. It's very important. This won't take long. This episode shouldn't even be that long. This is just, there are no injustices on the card, so slowly but surely, the name of this series, of this channel, of everything about this whole thing is slowly being devalued because ever so often there are no injustices. So it doesn't, at this point it should be called honorable mentions for all MMA, but we're not going to call that. That sounds lame. No injustices. We do have some honorable mentions, but they're just small, like, housekeeping stuff. We'll just start it off. First fight, Brown versus Rosa. My card reflected 30-27 in favor of Brown. The judges, on the other hand, all three judges had a 29-28. Mike Bell, Adelaide Bird, Junichiro Kamijo, with all of them giving Rosa the last round 10-9. I'm not going to give an honorable mention. Honestly, this is, I don't know, I guess it's just a difference of opinion. I really don't know. I disagree. It's bad. I think it's bad. I think it's wrong. In the third round, Rosa had multiple submission attempts. None were in. But Brown had 2 takedowns with ground and pound. That should have been enough to give him the round. It wasn't. It doesn't matter. We move on to the next one. Next fight, Kelleher versus Croom. Okay, my scorecard reflected 29-27. With me giving Kelleher the last 2 rounds, and the last round being a 10-8 for Kelleher. The first round, I thought it was fairly close. I think you could have given it to either person. I gave it to Croom. I thought Croom won the first round. In that first round, despite getting dropped early and taken down late, he absolutely outstruck him throughout pretty much the entire round. I thought that was his for the taking. All 3 judges gave it to Kelleher in that first round, which is why I put the close marker. I put it after, or put it before, but still, you could argue it either way. But I gave it to Croom for the reason I explained. Derek clearly had a 30-27. Eric Colon had a 30-27. And Saul D'Amato had a 29-28 with me a little confused. He gave the second round to Croom. In the second round, Kelleher got 2 takedowns. Very little ground and pound, despite being outstruck on the feet. But again, it was enough to win that round. So, honorable mention to Saul D'Amato. I disagree with that part of his scorecard. None of them had the 10-8 like me. I gave the 10-8 just based off the fact that Kelleher essentially dominated the third round. In that third round, 3 takedowns with ground and pound and multiple submissions. Croom basically did nothing in that round. To me, that's a 10-8. Next fight, Algio versus Brito. Or Brito. I'm going to say Brito. Sorry if this episode sounds subdued. We're getting back into the thick of things. My scorecard reflects 29-28 for Algio. That first round was very close. I put a close marker on that, but I'll get to that in a second. There clearly had a 30-27. Algeo, Crosby had a 29-28. Algio, his scorecard reflects mine, and Saul D'Amato also has it the same way. As me, his scorecard reflects mine. The only difference is Derek Clearly's first round scorecard is in favor of Algio instead of Brito. That round is very close. It's a very close round. In that first round, Brito got 2 takedowns, very little ground and pound, He got reversed, and Algio had little ground and pound as well also, and Algio outstruck Brito on the feet. So it was one of those rounds where a lot was going on, and it was very close. So you could have picked either person; it really wouldn't have mattered. Next fight. This one is an honorable mention for me, at least in the moment, if I ever decide to rewatch the round. But this one is for Chookagian versus Maia. My scorecard was 29-28. All 3 judges' scorecards were 30-27. Derek Clearly, Saul D'Amato, and Adelaide Bird all had 30-27. My reasoning was, I thought the round was close. Give the slight edge to Maia. I feel a little weird about it. I don't know why. So I just gave myself an honorable mention. I feel like I misscored that round. In the future, usually I go back and rewatch it. I decided not to rewatch it. I decided I'm just gonna say maybe one day I'll check it. Maybe one day I'll rewatch but I highly doubt it. But for right now, honorable mention for me. I feel like I scored that round wrong, but my scorecard remains the same, 29-28 for Chookagian. Honorable mention again for this fight. It's Royval versus Bontorin. I had it 29-28. Royval, and this is easy to explain. If you look back at all my scorecards, this is fairly easy to explain. First, Eric Colon reflects my scorecard exact. Chris Lee reflects my scorecard exact. So the honorable mention here is going to Douglas Crosby, who gets the second and the third round correct. The first round he gives to Bontorin. Now, in that, if you don't remember that first round, Bontorin gets 2 takedowns, but Royval was active on the bottom. He was active on the bottom. So Bontorin is losing on the feet, and is taken down, or it takes down Royval twice, but does nothing on top to win the round. Right? Again, you got to be active. If you're not active on top, you're gonna lose. There's a lot of fights where fighters get on top and they lose. So there's that. And then this one actually pisses me off the most of them, I'm going to be honest. We got an honorable mention here. And I didn't give it to the first fight and say all 3 judges. I actually want to give an honorable mention here for the Kattar versus Chikadze fight. And this one, this is like the 5th time where I felt like either my eyes were deceiving me or I'm being messed with. So I'm talking Kattar versus Chikadze. My scorecard is 49-46. And the judges' scorecards are Derek Clearly, Saul D'Amato, Chris Lee, 50-45, 50-45, and 50-44. Okay, let's first talk about the 10-8 at the end. I see why. No, I actually don't see why I give it. I thought it's inexcusable. It's an excessive 10-8. It's one of those nagging 10-8s. Terrible 10-8. Bad. Honorable mention for that. But I want to give an honorable mention to all of them because I with my heart of hearts, I believe they scored round 2 incorrectly. Round 2 should have gone to Chikadze. Kattar got a takedown at the very end of that round to end the round. But I watched it the first time, and I had felt and saw that Kattar was outstruck by Chikadze in the second. They show me the stats, so I'm looking at the stats in the third, and I'm seeing an enormous gap. Or if I remember correctly, it's not even an enormous gap. It's like a close gap. It's almost as though they were like one strike apart. So I thought to myself, okay, maybe I missaw it, right? I went back, I rewatched it. No. Chikadze outstruck him well enough to where this takedown doesn't matter or affects who won that round. Chikadze should have won that round. This scorecard should objectively be 49-46. Instead, Kattar wins all 5 rounds. Doesn't matter. Right fighter won, but I disagree with how they scored that round. Honorable mention to all 3 of them. That's all I got. I feel out of breath. I feel lethargic. Hopefully next time I can come with a more concise way of putting these out. Again, if you listen to this, thank you. Thank you for listening, and God bless.